I'll mute my mic and just send me a message when you want me to chime in.
Okay, cool. And once a couple people get in here, I'll ask you to talk really quick just so we know the audio, like so that they hear you fine, so we can transition over easily.
Easy.
Let's see. All right, I just tweeted. I'll post it in my Telegram too. All right, what's going on, everybody? Oh, I should get the little bit of background music going. What's up, Trading Pup? SMFX, you want to say something quick to just make sure the mic's working all good? Or so people can hear you?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear him? We'll see what they say. What's up, Alex? What's up, Bread Till Dead? Mitch is wondering if we're going to take our shirts off. What's up, Pablo? We off to the moon?
How's it going on my bike, bro? Is it too loud?
They haven't said anything yet. I think it's good. There's like a 30 or 60 second delay, so by the time we ask, we have to like wait a little. One person said try again. Someone else said yes. More people said yes. Someone said no. Maybe they joined late. No, nah, nah, no, no. No. It's all the same person, though. What's up, Brett? Yeah, switching up the stream time a little bit. Accommodate for some more time zones. Switching it up. It's not good. Trading Puppy says it's not good. Okay, give me a sec. What's not good about it? All right, some people say it's great. I mean, you're reading the chat too.
Bike is sus. Yeah.
Like, is it too
What about
loud?
now? Is it better?
Too loud, too quiet? What are we thinking? Okay. I think the people who say it's having issues, it might be on their end. Sounds like he's in a tunnel and there's an echo. Oh, okay. I'm going to mute my mic, SMFX, and then say a few words, and then we'll see if that's better.
Is it better?
Well, he is in a different room, Steve. Simon says it's perfect timing, Cause. Glad to hear that, bro. All right, well, we'll deal with it. They say the quality's not perfect, but it is what it is. A bit hollow, but clear. All right, so I'll mute my mic when you talk, SMFX, and I think that'll make it at least a little bit better. So, we gave people a few minutes to get in here, so we will get started as usual. Shout out to the sponsors of this stream, Bybit, my preferred derivatives trading platform, and Zort. If you guys want to know what that is, I talked with the founder and CEO a couple streams ago, and still working. I said yesterday that this week I would set up my account and get that AI going, but I did not get around to it yesterday. So by the time we stream again, we should have it all set up. All right, and it looks like more people are saying the mic is good. So I don't have a ton of new stuff to say because, as you guys know, we streamed yesterday, like 24 hours ago. We do have a little bit more info, but I'm going to run through Bitcoin and Ethereum quickly, and then I will hand the mic over to SMFX, and we will get his take on the market, what he's seeing here, bias, setups he's looking for, etc. And he has a, if you don't follow him on Twitter already, he's got a very simple, clean, systematic approach. So I'm excited to see his thoughts. So if you guys watched yesterday, you know these are kind of the three scenarios we were looking for. Either a dip down to the monthly open, sweep a Monday's low, take out Monday's high, or take out the high time frame range high at 42,400. We did kind of tag Monday's high a little bit, but I have not gotten short yet. I don't really love when it's just like a tiny move above a level. I would have rather have seen it go a bit higher and then get below, because typically when I take these trades with Monday's high or Monday's low, my stop loss or invalidation is at the high of the move outside the range. And I mean, I saw this when we broke back down below. First of all, it went really fast, so it didn't really give me much time to get in. And then the second part, like from where Monday's high is, it was just such a small move above. And I don't always like that. That could be my issue, but I have found that when we only make a small move above or below a level, I don't love the odds of that being like our sweep or our manipulation or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not short on Bitcoin yet. I would rather see it push up for another leg, then get more of a big rejection back within the range. So still sitting on the sidelines right now, but this is still a setup that I'm looking for. One thing that I find pretty interesting is that this went to the range high to the tick. So this is our 12-hour supply, this gray level here. And this range high right here, I mean, we could not have tagged it more perfectly. Which that argument would say like, yeah, this is a short here, but it would be like a B- setup for me right now if I shorted it. So I'm just gonna wait. Don't really need to rush into anything. If it pushes up again, then I will look for a short, or if we kind of break down, lose this structure, then maybe get a retest like this and then down to the range low. So for right now, kind of just chilling. Regulation news not fully priced in yet. Yeah, I don't know exactly what to. I think the regulation stuff, excuse me, big picture is more bullish, but I do think it can spook some people out in the near term. SMFX, I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share on the regulation stuff that we've been kind of hearing a lot about.
Well, no. Any
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it does kind of seem like a bunch of exchanges are like pushing towards something with them lowering. I mean, dude, 0.06 is kind of insane. Yeah. I mean, people. Yeah, we're not going to be able to or people aren't going to be able to gamble on these crypto exchange casinos without KYC forever. So like, it makes sense. I think I was a little surprised with how quickly Binance did, and that they're giving people like a week or whatever before it's, oh, they said the mic cut off. Maybe it's because.
Is it better now?
Dude, I'm really screwing up the technical aspect of this. Maybe it's because I muted my mic. All right, you want to say what you said again, really quick?
Yeah, well, it's all inevitable. So the regulations are going to come eventually. But there hasn't been any actual like announcements or any regulations put in place. So it is all just speculation.
Right. It's just the lowering of the withdrawal limit, but it's not like governments or whatever saying. I mean, or even Binance saying like, all right, now mandatory KYC, right? Like they're still letting people trade without KYC. You just can't withdraw much. Okay, so they said that was better. Stop muting him, doesn't make a difference. No, I was muting me because I thought it echoed, but now I didn't. Anyway, yeah, the regulation, that was the big thing on Twitter yesterday. Also, what's up, Sunjuice? He's glad we're doing a stream together. I will take a look at ETH-BTC shortly. But yeah, so back to... Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
One second. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, you just need to trade the chart. Unless the regulations actually come out and the government start announcing new laws, then I think it's best to just ignore all of the news that you're seeing on Twitter and just trade what you see. It's in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. I just turned the music down, guys, if that was a little loud. Chris asks, can't you only access BSC through a VPN or something in the US anyway? What is BSC? Oh, Binance Smart Chain? I don't even know. All right, so back to Bitcoin. We've hit the range high perfectly. The sweep of Monday's high was a little suspect, so I'm still sitting on the sidelines. I'd rather be patient. If we go for another push up and get rejected, I'll look to short. I would kind of rather just long once it gets above, but keeping my options open, keeping my bias clear, and for now kind of just being patient. I mean, when we talked about this yesterday, let's see, we were like right here, so we were looking for this to push up. Was not long, but we'll see what we get. I guess I'm kind of just rambling, but the bottom line is kind of just need to be patient and wait for a little bit more price action to play out. With ETH-BTC, a little bit of the same. I mean, we were able to bounce from this mid-range right here, and also it pushed into the origin of this move, so clearly a bit weaker than Bitcoin. Because that same level would be right around here, like 34.8 on Bitcoin. So Ethereum, a little bit weaker right now, but we'll look at ETH-BTC to see if we can take a look at where we think things are going from here. But still kind of in a no trade zone, I guess, for me. The only long scenario I'm looking for on Ethereum is if we take out these equal lows at 2,106 and into this level right here, which is kind of right by the range low. And this 2,000 has been such a important level for Ethereum. Like, even if we go back a little bit, just this whole region in general, right? So super clear resistance here. We stalled right here, dipped right back into that level and pushed, held it as support a couple more times. Here it held for a little bit, but then eventually gave out, resistance, finally flipped it. So any next test of that, we'd still expect it to hold as support. And so if this does come down, wicks below those equal lows right into that SR level, gets back above, that's a nice long scenario for me. So can you buy spot on Bybit? Yes, you can. And Trading Puppy says news gets reflected in the chart anyway, and that is indeed true. So yeah, not a ton from my end. Some other stuff might come up during the stream that I would want to touch on, but I think I will hand it over to SMFX now. If you want to share your screen with me, and then I will drag it over.
All right. One sec.
All right.
Is that working?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm gonna just pull it over here. Oh, I don't want it like that. Okay. It might be a little blurry for them, but Discord kind of just sucks. Like the highest Discord does is 720p. So maybe there's a better alternative for this, but
maybe Zoom or something like that.
Yeah, we might have to try that for the next one, but
that's all good.
You know,
should do.
Right. Discord has worked fine for when I've done this with a couple other people, so we'll roll with it. Yep, exactly.
All right, sweet. So my whole strategy is kind of based off of two things, right? Liquidity and market structure. So liquidity being resting orders. How I find liquidity is just below equal lows or above equal highs. And then market structure, I'm just looking at one pattern. So just a head and shoulders pattern. So essentially I'm just looking for the same pattern to occur. And if I see the pattern repeating inside of itself like this, then that is distribution. If I see it in the other direction, accumulation. The one part of my strategy is finding these patterns. The other part is looking for liquidity. So an example of that. On Bitcoin. So we have yesterday's price action here. Sweeping the low, being the left shoulder, breaking above the high, then forming the same pattern again. So essentially, this is my whole strategy. I'm just using one pattern as the trigger, and then I'm looking for liquidity. So double tops, double bottoms, untested levels, previous day's highs, previous day's lows, things like that. So I wanted to take a look at the dollar, because obviously if the dollar is going to head up and the dollar is going to continue a rally, then Bitcoin is not going to look good. So we go on to the H4. We're in a bit of a shaky spot at the moment. So we're approaching resistance. We haven't quite taken out this key high. So there's no reason, in my opinion, to be looking for a full reversal just yet. So if we take a look at these lows, sweeping out a low, breaking above the high, that's responsible for taking that low. And then once we return to this level, we form the same pattern again. So essentially, this is what accumulation looks like in my eyes. Now we have broken below this diagonal trend line. It's not enough to come up with a bias yet though, in my opinion. So we've broken below. If we're going to continue, we need to break down below this low. But if this is a fake out below the trend line, then this is something that I would look for. If we do break up above this high, right here, and then form the same pattern again, the head and shoulders pattern, as we revisit this zone, and Bitcoin shows a similar setup to get short, then I would assume that we're in for a deeper retrace. So a lot of people have been asking for my higher time frame buys on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I've covered this in my YouTube series, but I'm not sure that we are ready for a higher time frame reversal back to the upside. The reason being, we have all of these equal lows resting below. Ideally, if we were going to continue up to the upside, I would have liked to have seen these equal lows taken out and then a reclaim. So a break below support, taking this liquidity, reclaiming the support, and then continuing up, but we didn't quite see that. Which leads me to believe, I think that we're going to reach up above this high, or possibly not even reach above, continue down and run the lows before we see the larger expansion to the upside. Overall, on the higher time frames, I am bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm just not sure that this is the move that we saw over the last few days. I'm not sure that this is going to be the move that takes us to 70K now. So if we take a look at this top here, I know a lot of you have probably seen the Wyckoff charts, but this is just classic distribution. It can't get much cleaner than this. So we have a perfect example of equal highs being taken, breaking below the low that was responsible for taking those highs. Okay, this is our first break in market structure. And then we return and form the same pattern again here on the lower time frames. So until we see something similar, taking out these lows, reclaiming structure, then I think any move that we see now to the upside is just going to be a retrace before we take these lows. However, that's just my plan. You know, we could continue up, we could see a decent sized rally here. And of course, this could be the bottom, so I need to plan for that as well. So let's say we do break up above this high. And we see like a daily or weekly close above. I won't be looking for any higher time frame spot positions until we revisit this range and then form the same pattern that I've been talking about. So we don't need to take out these lows, but as long as we see the reaccumulation once we visit or revisit support, then that's enough for me to kind of enter. So if we were to see this pattern form on the lower time frames without taking the lows, then I would consider some higher time frame positions. But then of course, once we revisit the previous resistance and we revisit this distribution, are we just then going to redistribute and sell off? So if we have a look at stocks, the S&P, I'm sure everyone knows this, but obviously the S&P and Bitcoin like to move together. Sometimes they aren't correlated, but most of the time they are. So if we take a look at the market structure here on S&P, again, just using the exact same pattern. Okay, we have a sweep below a low, breaking above a high, revisiting, and then continuing up. Just using the same pattern, breaking structure, visiting support, confirming the retest, and then continuing up. Same pattern again. So until we start to invalidate these bullish patterns, so like this, sweeping the low, breaking above, and then the same thing just here. Until we start invalidating these patterns and then forming bearish patterns in the opposite direction, which would then indicate distribution, I would say it's safe to say that this run is just going to continue up. So you can see it, sweeping lows, breaking structure, sweeping lows, breaking structure. So let's say this is the top, okay? Just as an example, what would we need to see? We would need to see this low break, these levels all invalidated, so now the bullish structure is being invalidated. And then we would need to see all of these levels retested and distribution. Just like how on Bitcoin, I'm looking for a break above, and then as we revisit accumulation, same thing for the S&P. If this is the top, I doubt it is, but if it is, break below, we need to see the redistribution. And only when we see something like that would I say that the market is topping out and that we should start to look for higher time frame shorts. But until we see that, it's safe to say that Bitcoin is just going to follow suit and that the bullish trend should continue. So, similar picture here for ETH. We have all of these equal lows. A lot of liquidity sitting here. Now, every trade that I take is all based on statistics. So it's all very strict. I don't really have many nuances in my decision making. Everything is, I have like 3-4 steps. And once they've been ticked off, I just enter the trade. So because we haven't taken these lows, I'm not really permitted to take any higher time frame longs or any longs on this time frame. It doesn't stop me from going onto the hourly and taking a long on the hourly time frame, but just for this. So jumping onto the hourly and using the exact same strategy, sweeping out highs yesterday, breaking below lows. You can see we revisited, but we didn't distribute. So on the lower time frames here, you can see we have 2 equal highs. Let's get a little bit clearer on the 5 minute. But there was no distribution, so we didn't fall back above there and then retest and sell off. Meaning during Asia, I was able to get into a long early morning because there wasn't any distribution there. But now that you can see on the hourly, we swept above this high, we swept above this high. Now we've broken some structure. See the same thing again here. Not that low. Just making sure that all of the sweeps and all of the breaks in structure are relative to the previous sweep you're using and the time frame you're looking at. So I do think if we do break below this low, we should see a retrace. Now, I'm not saying that we come down and take out these equal lows here, but we may want to revisit this bullish zone. So again, sweeping out equal lows, breaking above the high. When you see distribution at the top of a range, like we're seeing here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a full reversal. It may mean that we're just distributing into previous bullish zones. So if I do get short here, if we do break structure, this will be my target. What else am I looking at here? Bitcoin, a similar picture, not quite taking out this high though, which does lead me to believe that we might have another leg up here. Bit of a clearer picture for a long. So the same pattern again, be clear on the 15 minute. Sweeping out a low here, breaking above the high that is responsible for taking the low, forming the same pattern again. But we haven't come back and actually tested this range properly. And we do have all of these lows sitting here, so liquidity sitting below these lows. So if we do break below here and see the pattern again form on the lower time frames, it may be a good opportunity to long into these highs. So a similar picture, because we are sitting in a higher time frame range. I think it's dangerous to try to pick a bias at the moment. There's really no evidence to it, for my strategy anyway. I think you're probably best to wait for either a break above the obvious range high, followed by reaccumulation as we revisit this zone, or a sweep below the equal lows, followed by a reclaim. I think until we see either one of those scenarios, the most likely scenario is just going to be a continued range. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to be using S&P as a rough guide as long as we maintain the structure on S&P. It's probably safe to assume that Bitcoin and Ethereum are accumulating or getting ready for a move up on higher time frame bullish. Yeah, no worries. I think that's it, guys.
Yeah, so I think we share a lot of the same. Here, let me move your screen. There we go. I think we share a lot of the same high time frame ideas. Like, we are still pretty much just in this range between 29 and 42 or whatever it is, and I know people are probably getting super sick of hearing that because that's just what people have been saying over and over again. So it is getting a little tiresome to hear that we're still just stuck in the same old range, but the reality is we kind of just need to continue trading it or just take some time off until we break out from either direction.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think most people should actually just take some time off. Unless your strategy kind of works well in a range, you really shouldn't be trying to predict whether we're going to break out above the 50, 60K or fall back below to 20. I think that's a dangerous game, and what you're probably going to end up doing is just losing most of your capital, and then we do go to expand and you've got barely anything left, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, a lot of people are probably better off just sitting on the sidelines.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Looking at the daily, it looks like, I mean, we've had 7 confirmed daily candles in a row, working on the 8th right now. So I don't know, it's definitely an unpopular opinion to be like quote unquote bearish right now. Not to say I'm bearish, but I just prefer looking for shorts when we are in the 40Ks. That's worked 3 times already, so might as well keep milking that for as long as we can, in the same way that we've been looking for longs when we're around 30 to 31, 32. But we'll see what we get. You guys have any specific questions? I apologize, I don't have too much to add. Just kind of ran through all this stuff. The weekly's starting to shape up not too bad, though. I mean, it's good to see some life, because for a while it was just looking like we were just bleeding down for like 3-4 weeks. So it's good to see a little bit of life, good to see us pumping a little bit, but I think it's a little foolish to predict that we are breaking out of this range until we see price kind of telling us that, you know.
I've seen a lot of hype for NFTs.
Yeah,
NFTs. Are you looking at any NFT points? The gaming points?
I've been looking at, I mean, AXS has been insane, but I mean, I was looking at that when it was at like 30, and I was like, all right, I pretty much missed this move, and kind of stopped watching it, and then checked back at it later, and I was like, oh my gosh, we just got to 50.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest use cases, or probably one of the only use cases for NFTs.
Yeah.
For like companies and institutions and stuff.
I think you could be right. All right, here's my SMFX analysis. Wait, that's wrong. This one. Let's see if we start to see some distribution, right?
I think I've got like a 30 to 60 second delay on the stream.
Oh yeah, I think you do too. You hear me in real time because we're talking on Discord, but then if you're looking at the stream, it is a little late. If it was to break down, will you expect a visit at the 35K zone? Personally, yes. So I think if we are breaking down, I think that's a logical spot for us to pull back to. And if this really is bullish, which I know a lot of people are claiming that it is, I'm not fully convinced yet. But if it is, I'd like to see it hold in this like 34 to 35K range, somewhere in here. It could pull back further and could still be bullish. It kind of just depends. Like, we've seen these grind ups. I guess it's a grind up right here. And they do tend to break up. I mean, it seems like a lot of times when we get these slow grinds, they end up just popping to the upside. But then we just have all these untapped lows at the bottom of it. So it'll be interesting to see if we make a run on that liquidity there. But yeah, I will start looking for long setups around 35 and then kind of just see if Bitcoin decides to wick below these and then get back above, or same thing with this one. So I'll kind of be looking for that same thing around either of these three levels, but it definitely would take dropping to 35K for me to really get interested in like buying a dip, if that's how you want to say it. And then on the other hand, like if we do break above 40K and actually hold above it, like break above this high like SMFX was talking about, I think we should see some relatively easy, well, not easy, it's never completely easy, but easier longs kind of up to the origin of this breakdown. I guess you could call it like the floor, or SMFX would call it the base, right? The broken base.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think revisiting that area would make sense. And I think when we break out of this higher time frame consolidation, we'll be looking for some, like a nice 10K move from 40 to 50 or 42 to 52, whatever it's going to be exactly. But that was the long roundabout way of answering your question if I expect 35K. Constantinus. Federico asked who is the get. Oh yeah, bread till dead. Already respond to that. It's at _ SMFX _ on Twitter, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's see if there are any other questions I missed. Have you bought any NFTs?
No, not yet. You were trying to get me into the apes. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I still have some. I still have some. I don't think they're doing super well. I kind of want to buy. I kind of want to buy a punk.
But in the long run, though, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think punks are kind of an interesting investment. But
yeah, well, it could be one of those things. You don't know. It might pay off. Got some spare change. Leave it for a few years.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Are you even able to sell the apes? Like, is the market even liquid enough for it?
Not many people are buying apes. So, not, a little. I might burn like 3 or 4 of them or something, because they're like, they send you a metal print of the ape if you burn it, which is kind of cool. Would be kind of a fun little office piece, and then you can be like, yeah, lost a bunch of money on those, but but I got a cool metal print now, so it's all worth it, right? I forgot to look at ETHBTC, said we would look at that earlier, but it's kind of following along from what we were looking at yesterday, like around here when we were at just under 0.06. We had this bit of a range here, and I wouldn't want to be shorting ETHBTC here. How high it bounces, I don't know. If it can get back above that low, I would expect to move up to this range high at 0.064. So I think ETHBTC is in an interesting spot, and that makes me a little more interested in Ethereum longs when the time comes. Like, I'm not saying right now, and the picture would have to look a little bit different. Like if it stayed around here for a while or got back above 0.0578. But I think the majority of the time where Bitcoin has been outperforming ETH, like over the last, whatever it's been, 4 days, I think that sharp drop off is kind of coming to an end here. However, if we do kind of lose this entire zone here at 0.055, then I think Ethereum has quite a bit of dropping to do. For instance, if it broke down Like this, it honestly kind of looks like the 6K floor on Bitcoin, but what doesn't? I feel like so many things look like that. Any series of lower highs with the same low, we kind of just say looks like the 6K floor, which is probably getting overused by now. But you see the first drop, bounce, next drop, smaller bounce, next drop, smaller bounce. So it's that bouncy ball meme where it ends up just rolling over. So higher time frame, if we do lose this general level, I would prefer Ethereum shorts if we're bearish, and I would prefer Bitcoin longs if we're bullish. But lower time frame, if we are able to break back above this level, do something like this, then I think Ethereum will show a little bit of strength for a while. Someone asked, what do you think about grabbing the liquidity below 36 and longing the retest? Let's take a look. It might work, but it isn't necessarily a significant low for me. Like it definitely could come down and take out that low and push up from there, but it's just kind of a random swing low, I guess you could say.
If we do take 36, I'll be looking at 32 or 34 to get long.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, if it comes down that far, I would kind of expect it to at least take out Monday's low. I don't know have you ever used Monday's range, SMFX? Not much.
I went through testing it like a year or two ago, but I didn't actually apply it to my strategy. I use every day's high and low. I don't use Monday specifically. Yeah.
Sometimes it might end up looking like that, and other times not.
Yeah, well, it is only Wednesday too, so
right. It's
we could
still
see a drop off here and then reaccumulation into the weekend and still close green for the week.
Yeah,
so
and
it's not very often that we see a full week of green candles or a full week of red candles. So just keeping that in mind too, though.
Right, and I mean, I can't remember when it was, but we've seen quite a few other times where, like this week, Monday, it literally just went straight up for the entire week. For the entire day. And we saw that here. This is what I was thinking of. Let me zoom. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. And you can see we ended up taking out Monday's high, retesting it, and came down for the low. So even though the week started out super bullish and it was just straight up, it doesn't usually continue that way for the entire week. The next week, we kind of had the same thing, where Monday was literally straight up the entire time. Took out Monday's high, retested the mid-range, and then pushed up a bit more. And we've also seen it in the opposite direction. So this is kind of what we were just talking about, but the bearish version, where it dropped for the entire day Monday, spent some time below the low. Once it reclaimed it, got back above. Actually, this is the bullish version. Like if we got the opposite of this, it would be us coming back down to 35, which isn't necessarily bullish, but for me that's what I would want to see to get long. So let me see. Any chance ETH BTC will break below 0.054? Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a chance. Let me look at it just to see what level specifically you were talking about. 0.054. Yeah, so that's kind of that floor we were talking about. And if it does break that, then I'd say look out below for a little bit. And I think it would come to 0.042 or 3.
What's on Doge shorts? Oh shit, man.
Hey,
I think it's going up, to be honest.
Really?
Yep.
This is what I have on Doge from who knows how long ago. We got this little breakdown. You can just see how much the volatility has dried up on Doge though. Like how just small these candles are compared to over here, for instance. Would I short now? Probably not. I'm kind of just waiting. Is there somewhere to learn about SMFX's strategy, execution, etc.? There is.
Yeah, my YouTube.
He does a lo-fi and coffee series.
Yeah.
Like every day, almost,
lo-fi.
Right?
Yeah, 4 to 5 days.
There are these good 10, 15-minute episodes usually, kind of going over what he's... positions he's in. Yeah, go for it. And then if you want to link your Twitter too. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these people already follow you, but I saw a couple questions about asking about liquidity. I don't know if you want to give a short explanation about when you talk about liquidity and your... Yeah, go for it.
Right, is it sharing screen?
Yeah, go. Hold on, I need to pull it over. Yeah, I still have it up. Let's see. Pop out. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Full screen. There we go.
What did he ask?
This
how do
is
you look for liquidity?
Yeah, and then earlier it was, can you just elaborate on how you look for liquidity? But I missed it when he asked it that time. So.
Yeah, so liquidity is everywhere in the market, but I like to look for the most obvious places where it may lie. So above equal highs and below equal lows is an obvious one. So this is a clear example. Something like this also. I spoke about this on YouTube before it played out. See, we have these equal lows here, and then we sweep below and break above. So I don't really like to kind of predict if, let's say these equal lows are going to be used as liquidity and then we're going to continue up. I would rather just wait for the sweep below and then the break-in structure. So here's the break-in structure. There's the sweep below. So if you just mark out equal lows and equal highs, you can use the replay button on TradingView and just watch how price reacts once we take those equal highs or we take the equal lows. Something that is less obvious would be, what did I call this on? Is it on Bitcoin? Yeah, it was. Okay, so even the use of triangles in kind of an incorrect scenario. So here we have a triangle, we break above here, we reach into resistance, and then we drop below. And obviously if people are buying the breakout of here, liquidity is resting below these lows. So using a false breakout of a triangle in a similar way that you would use equal lows to find liquidity, and again, not trying to predict if it's going to be used as liquidity for a push up, just waiting for the break-in structure. And then obviously you have key highs and lows. So an easy way to find those would be just looking at the previous day's high, previous day's low. If you're a day trader and the price action is bullish and we sweep below a previous day's low and then continue to break structure and let's say form these patterns on the lower time frame, then it's safe to say that the move below that low was used as liquidity. So yeah, I'm trying not to, I'll mark out a lot of equal lows and equal highs, but most of them I don't use. So really when I'm trying to find liquidity, I am just marking out equal highs, equal lows. Where's the most obvious place that a lot of kind of inexperienced traders are going to be looking to get into their positions. So,
right. And yeah, and when we say liquidity, like I think, at least for myself, I'm talking about where stop losses are, like where people should be, where they would have stop losses to be like resting or, yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so like let's say, like you have support and resistance traders going long here, let's say they buy here, they're going to have this stop right below or somewhere in this area.
Right.
Okay, so they have liquidity in the form of sell orders. So they're buying here. When they set a stop loss, it's a sell order. So once price hits that order, it's selling into the market. And then you also have breakout traders as well, right? So you have, let's say people are still looking at this area as a level of support, and they think once this level breaks, then that is a support resistance flip, and then they look to short into the market, then providing liquidity. I don't think it's wise to try to kind of predict if equal lows or a break-in structure break, the support resistance is going to be used as liquidity. I think it's best to wait for the structure break after the sweep of that liquidity. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. JJ Grills. No, go for
There's
it.
a lot of nuances to it, really. Just trying not to overcomplicate it. Just using equal highs, equal lows, key swing highs, key swing lows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just every single like low time frame high and low that the market makes is like a important one, basically. And that's what you'll learn more with experience, like which highs and lows that the market makes seem to be more important and things like that. He says, thank you so much, deeply appreciated. So your explanation was killer.
Easy.
JJ Grill says, we typically look for break and retest as triggers. How do you trade a move like Monday where it just goes vertical? Is there a point where you just consider a price level reclaimed without a retest? Short answer is I just don't trade it. Like when price is running away, I'm not going to FOMO into it because typically like your invalidation is just going to be so far away where it's not really worth it. And if you miss the bulk of the move, to me, it just isn't worth chasing it. So I just stay patient, wait a couple days, see for some more price action to unfold, get some new levels to work with, and then step in.
I agree. It's best to be patient, especially after this. Like you look at this impulse move up, still no trades in this zone, and then we see the retrace at yesterday's where you could have got it.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Trying to catch a move like this isn't smart.
Because it could have just as easily reversed from there, and this could have been just one last fake out pump before we go back to 30K. So, like in real time, you don't know what's going to happen. So, can you elaborate on market structure break after a sweep of a high-low? Yeah, I mean, he go ahead.
So how I just like to look at like for example, if we're sweeping the low, I'll look for the most obvious key swing that was responsible for taking that low. So we jump on to the 3 minute. And it's all relative, so I'm a day trader and I like to scalp, so I'll look at the 1 minute or the 3 minute time frame. You can do the exact same thing on the daily. So here we have the low. Here's the most obvious swing that was responsible for taking that low and the most obvious kind of SR level. Once that's swept, then that's how I determine if I see a market structure break. So you reckon that answers the question?
I think so. A good website to view a cross order book for BTC? I do not know. Maybe someone else in the chat has an answer for that. All right, I'm going to pull your screen back over. All right, guys. Any last questions? So I guess to summarize, my kind of view with Bitcoin is need to be patient, need a little bit more to unfold, and I will continue to update you guys if I take any trades or if something changes. XRP got a little pump today. It's up 10%. That's kind of surprising. Well, linear up 14%. Oh, someone asked yesterday what I would need to see to start being more interested in alts. And basically, I just want to make sure this isn't some scam pump before another massive leg down. So when Bitcoin does pull back, if we do find some support in this region here, and then start pushing from there, then I'll be like, all right, I think Bitcoin is going up for another leg, and I'm interested in trading some alts because I would expect them to also be pushing up for another leg. But right now, I don't really want to long alts because, like we were looking at earlier, Bitcoin has put in 7 green candles in a row. And I feel like you're kind of just chasing it at that point. So I will not be longing until this kind of cools off. Oh, there was news about XRP. Gotcha. All right, guys. SMFX, you got anything else?
I think that's pretty much it, man. I think
Where
I'm going to send a vote to you. I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
I'll continue to scalp the range. We're at a range high now, so if we can sweep those equal highs and then start breaking below, then we should see some easy shorts into the equal lows. If we don't take the equal highs and go down to 32 or 34K and start to break some structure to the upside, then I think we should see some easy longs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not trying to kind of predict if we're heading into a new bull market or if we're going to go down to 20K. Just trade in the range.
That's right. I think that is the best way to do it. Not try and predict crazy high time stuff, but just take it level to level. And I think you and I are similar in that aspect.
Yeah, well, I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah. All right. So where can people find you if you want to plug your YouTube videos and Twitter and stuff?
Yeah. I threw my YouTube link in the chat, so you can find that, and I'll throw it on Twitter. Yeah, so there's lots of tutorials and stuff on my YouTube, so go and check that out. And I do daily update videos.
This is his Twitter right here. Creeping up on 10K followers. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you all tuning in. And shout out to SMFX for joining me today and spilling some of his alpha. Yeah, good to have you. And thanks to everyone that tuned in. I will be back with another stream on Tuesday. So the Thursday stream happened today. Maybe if anything crazy happens towards the end of the week or this weekend, I can record a short 10-15 minute video, and we'll be sure to keep you guys updated. But as always, thanks for tuning in.